So today at the historic home renovation, we got the helical piers installed under the chimney from the outside. So I'm going to talk to you about what that looks like. So when we were investigating the house originally, we noticed that a lot of the walls were leaning, the floor had sagged. So I have foundation guys here that are set to lift the floor system. And part of what they noticed was that the chimney on the outside of the house is leaning out. We can't fix it. We can't write it back to perfectly plumb, but this is a 90-year-old house and I'm okay with that. What I wanted to do was make sure that it doesn't continue to sink anymore. So the suggestion was that we install helical piers under the foundation of the chimney from the outside. So when the guys showed up here in their giant equipment, the first thing they had to do was get rid of this root that was in their way. This was one of the trees that my friend and I had taken down earlier because it was just a trash tree that had volunteered in this spot, and I didn't want it anymore anyway. So we had cut it down previously, but there was this root system kind of left, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do about it. But when the guys showed up to do the helical piers, they were like, well, we're just going to rip it out of the ground because it's in our way. So now I have this giant root ball out of the ground, which is great, but now I have it on my lawn and I've got to figure out what to do with it. But I'm glad that they did that for me. So the first thing the guys did was bring in their backhoe and they opened up the ground in front of the chimney. They basically dug sort of 2 holes on either corner of the chimney, and that's where the screws are going to go in. So to actually install the helical piers, there's this piece of equipment that attaches to the front of their backhoe. And this equipment will basically spin, and it takes these long metal extensions that look like corkscrews, and it will spin these corkscrews into the ground. So these screws will keep going down into the ground until they reach a certain tension or torque. This is what gives the helical pier its strength. For this particular project, they were going for 1,500 psi or pounds per square inch. They can use multiple extensions to make the screw longer or long enough. If they had to keep going down into the ground 30, 40 feet, they could until they reach that 1,500 psi. Luckily, in my case, it was just one extension for a total of 10 feet for each screw. So after they got both of the helical piers into the ground at the torque that they needed, they used these brackets and these top plates. Now these attach with some mega heavy duty bolts that will stay in place, and they basically are able to shove these brackets and top plates so that they sit underneath the chimney. This will stay here permanently. It's made of a metal that's galvanized and heavy duty, and it will stay there permanently and will support the base of the chimney. So it will keep the chimney from sinking any farther. So now that the 2 helical piers are in place and the brackets are in and they're supporting the chimney, they just cover it back up with the dirt that was here before and compact that, and it's like they were never here, except obviously you can tell they were here. But my chimney is secure and safe. I'm not worried about it leaning anymore, and I'm grateful to have these 2 helical piers in.